harmful economic opportunities. Distance, safety, and poor infrastructure. Many tribal villages have schools far away, unsafe travel routes, no transport, schools without girls' toilets. Parents worry about their daughter's safety, especially after puberty. Low teaching quality and absenteeism. Teachers may not speak tribal languages, not stay in remote villages, be absent frequently. Girls attend school but don't learn frequently, lowering motivation to continue. Government schemes are poorly implemented. India has strong programs like Beti Bakoa, Beti Badoa, Eklavia Model Residential Schools, Kastaba, Gadi Balika, Badialas, and Skill India. But many fail because funds arrive late, monitoring is weak, benefits don't reach the most remote families. Skills training doesn't match true job markets. Girls are trained in tailoring, beautician work, hospitality. These skills often don't match local job opportunities. As a result, they stay unemployed. Digital divide is huge. Most rural and tribal girls lack smartphones, internet access, digital knowledge. Online learning leaves them behind. Social norms restrict girls' mobility. Families fear harassment, negative community judgment, safety risk. Girls are not allowed to travel to colleges, training centers, or workplaces even if they want to. Intersectional discrimination. Girls face barriers because they are rural, tribal, female. Many also lack ADA, bank accounts, or caste certificates, limiting access to skills and opportunities. So as India, we are saying that, so as India, we are saying to solve these problems, first of all, we are going to teach in mother languages in higher tribal teachers. Use languages like Gondi, Santali, or in primary classes. Train and hire local tribal teachers. This improves understanding and increases attendance. Second of all, direct cash transfers to families. Provide monthly payments when girls attend schools regularly, to choose market linkages. This allows sustainable micro businesses. Mobile learning events and solar classrooms. Bring education directly to remote villages using vans with tablets and solar power, local language, digital content, flexible with household duties. So, in summary, current solutions in India fail because they ignore cultural realities, poverty, safety issues, and poor implementation. New solutions must include local language, education, financial incentives, safe infrastructure, with these areas. Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates, distinguished guests, namaste to you all. Today I'd like to speak on an issue that lies at the heart of the empowerment of rural indigenous women. India, a nation of 1.4 billion people, understands that the strength of the country is measured not only by its economy or military power, but how it uplifts its most marginalized communities. Rural women and tribal girls form the backbone of India's social and economic fabric. Yet they continue to face barriers in education, employment, health, and representation. India believes that empowerment is not an act of charity, but is an investment. And we stand ready to share solutions that are practical, scalable, and rooted in our current resources and financial capacity. Now, India possesses expanding access to quality education for rural or indigenous girls by optimizing the resources we already possess, such as digital learning through the PM1 of Bharat. India is rapidly expanding broadband connectivity by equipping village schools and community centers with low-cost tablets and offline digital content. We can bridge the learning divide even with limited budgets. We are also strengthening the Kastuba Gandhi Balika Vidyalaya. These residential schools for girls from disadvantaged backgrounds already exist across India. Increasing teacher training, nutrition support, and STEM learning modules requires moderate achievable investment. Using existing state council resources, India can expand
mother tongue learning to improve retention and emotional well-being among indigenous girls. Economic empowerment through low-cost skilling and entrepreneurship. India believes economic independence is key to empowerment. With 3 current budgets, India can scale the following. Create special training hubs for rural and advanced young girls in fields like handloom and crafts, food processing, solar panel maintenance, digital services, and micro entrepreneurship. These are all supported by existing government resources. India already has over 9 million SHGs offering microcredit, digital payment, training, and marketing linkage, which requires minimal additional costs. SHG-led enterprises like dairy, spices, bamboo products, and ecotourism can boost rural income significantly. By enabling SHGs and rural women producers to sell directly to the government buyers, India can eliminate middlemen and raise incomes without major financial burdens. Improving health and nutrition using existing public health networks. Good health is the foundation of empowerment. Strengthening ASHA and Anganwadi workforce. India already has many trained community health and additional training on mental health, and nutrition can be rolled out cost effectively. India can scale production of biodegradable sanitary napkins through SHGs. This creates both employment and affordable access. Telemedicine via Ayushman Bharat Health and Wellness Centers. With teleconsultation facilities already in place, rural and tribal girls can access specialized care without financial strain. Legal literacy workshops. Women must understand their rights under laws related to child marriage, domestic violence, and workplace safety. In conclusion, empowerment is not a slogan. It is a roadmap. India's solutions are grounded in existing resources, affordable interventions, and common programs. With this, I think. Empowering rural and indigenous young women through education and economic inclusion. A statement by the Kingdom of Eswatini. Brief background. Eswatini is one of the smallest countries in Africa, covering approximately 17,364 square kilometers, making it the second smallest in continental Africa and the smallest landlocked country in the southern hemisphere, and is surrounded by the country of South Africa, and has an estimated population of 1.25 million in 2025. The population is young, with a median age of 22.5 years, and 70% live in rural areas. That being said, Eswatini's population is 70% rural, and 70% of rural residents living below the poverty datum line with HIV, and 47% sexual violence in their lifetime. Customary law denies women land ownership, and female-headed households are more likely to be poor. Women make up only 36% of wage employees and earn less than men. Let's put it into perspective. Rural women in Eswatini face severe inequalities rooted in poverty, gender discrimination, and limited access to resources. Again, customary laws prevent women from owning land.
Only 13% of female farmers hold land rights. Women are less likely than men to own a bank account versus 73% of men, a computer versus 30% of men, or a motor vehicle versus 24% of men. Women earn 77 cents for every dollar that men earn. And 50% of young women are unemployed versus 44% of young men. Only 50% of women, compared to 55% of men, report making independent decisions on household spending. Allow me to break it down. Rural women in Eswatini face major education and economic barriers due to poverty, cultural norms, and systematic discrimination. Although girls enroll in school at similar rates to boys, many drop out early due to pregnancy, lack of funds for top-up fees, and sexual violence in schools. This limits their access to higher and technical education, especially in STEM fields, where cultural biases and lack of support discourage participation. Without education, women end up in low-paying informal jobs and excluded from land ownership and financial services. Customary laws give men control over property, so women can't use assets as collateral for loans. As a result, they remain economically dependent and 77 cents for every dollar men earn and struggle to grow businesses, to invest in their families, trapping them in cycles of poverty. Thank you.
With prior permission of the head table, distinguished delegates, good morning once again, everyone. I'd like to thank you for your attention, and as we move forward with today's agenda, now the resolutions I'm about to present are grounded in the urgent social and economic realities, particularly the systemic inequalities faced by the rural women of Eswatini. Now, the following resolutions are designed to dismantle these systematic challenges and to promote opportunities that are equitable for sustainable national development. Now, these are the resolutions that we already, as a district, as a country, have implemented. Number one, with the Empowering Gender Equality, which has been the most effective. It trained 50 rural women in renewable energy and entrepreneurship and business. It installed 35 kilowatt solar mini grid in Bunda, and electricity reduced women's time poverty. Now, the impact of this is it directly increased income opportunities while reducing unpaid domestic labor. We have number two, the Finclud project. 66% of project beneficiaries are women, 1,994 people reached so far, and women hold 40% of leadership roles in producer groups. The impact, however, was that it expanded women's access to finance, training, and agricultural markets, which was critical for rural entrepreneurship. We have number three, the women's land rights reforms by the United Nations and the government. Eswatini updated its national gender policy to strengthen women's rights to land and natural resources. Land access is recognized as essential for credit, farming, and economic security. The impact for this was it helped dismantle long-standing structural barriers limiting women's economic power. Number four, we've got the Mukami Bomak cottage industry by the United Nations and businesswomen of Eswatini. It supported 150 plus rural women and men with skills in income and textiles. It expanded to 11 Tinkluhada using a cottage factory containers. It helped create stable rural jobs, especially for vulnerable women, youth, and persons with disabilities. Now, in regard to education gains and gender parity, secondary education, 58% of women versus 59% of men have attended. Post-secondary, 21% of women, 23% of men. Now, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, however, lack of negligible net positive results would then render our whole effort, or rather our whole program, useless. So this is a segment we would like to call the net positive effects of the resolutions we employed in the Kingdom of Eswatini in order to empower rural and indigenous young women through education and economic inclusion. Now we have curriculum reforms. Curriculum reforms now integrate gender and energy content in primary schools to promote early STEM engagement. Women's parliamentary representation reached 21.6% in 2024, up from 17% in 2023. Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Act 2018 criminalized marital rape and child marriage, strengthening legal protections for women. Teen pregnancy-related dropouts reduced through school re-entry programs, supporting over 200 teenagers. And government policies and international partnerships are driving systemic change in education, health, and economic inclusion for women. Although Eswatini has made notable progress in advancing gender equality, such as criminalizing marital rape, increasing women's parliamentary representation to 21.6%, and achieving 100% gender equality in technical employment, the country still ranks 137 out of 159 in the UNDP Gender Equality Index, with deep disparities in economic opportunity, land ownership, and rural access to services. Achieving true equality requires sustainable international cooperation, including funding, technical support, and knowledge sharing to strengthen institutions, enforce laws, and skill programs. Thank you.
Distinguished delegates, Honorable Chair, without wasting much time with everyone here, I will get into why and what the delegation of Eswatini in my kingdom believe is the way forward to the SDG before. We want to take a page and thank the delegation of India for bringing up a very important point that we need to discuss in this conference: the idea of scalability and practicality alongside vertical. Before we get into that, I'd just like to bring in some very important figures that will be very important for the rest of our work. Eswatini ranks 137 in the 159 countries in terms of gender equality. 1,000 girls in Eswatini became pregnant, disrupting education, increasing poverty. 50% of young women unemployed compared to 44% of young women. And only 36.1% of gender-based SDG indicators are currently monitored using critical databases. So, what do we think is the main issue? What do we think would be the best way to go about solving the issues in regard to economic inclusivity and rural empowerment? Now, here we are talking about rural. The key word here is rural. Africa is a very broad continent, so the best way to go about fixing and empowering women is to go about pushing them, encouraging them into more. Before we go about giving women more related information, let's try to look at what every day is happening. As other countries agriculture is very important. By giving them skills to farming, harvesting, planting, etc., we're giving them skills every day to support their families that are in line with our cultural and social political scene. Our country does not allow many women to have a share in the going about of the day-to-day life. However, encouraging them to take part in the general agricultural day-to-day gives them more power in how what is being produced per day to the family, how the family is being taken care of, what is being produced per day to the family, how the family is being taken care of, and most importantly, though the country is quite small, having more people partaking in agriculture brings more food on the table for people on a larger scale, women in particular. So it's the help of the population is rural. accept that in our country we also make strides to make primary education quite free in our country. Free for all women and all men up until the 7th grade, which is a good start. We also want to partner with the UN to make secondary education in school. We wouldn't want to say it's free, but rather scholarships and easier to attain by giving grants and maybe providing schools that are more free toward those who are in marginalized communities, more gender-based violence, systemic oppression, child marriages, and school harassment, where there is more security taking part to make sure that the people are
Honorable Chair, distinguished delegates. The Republic of Poland stands before this assembly with intense responsibility and conviction. Our motion today, empowering rural and indigenous women through education and economic inclusion. It's not only a matter of justice, but it is also a cornerstone of sustainable development. Poland, located in Central Europe, bordered by Germany, Slovakia, Ukraine, and Lithuania. Since gaining independence on 11 November 1918, we have strived to empower young rural women through endeavors like the Knowledge Education Development Program and projects such as the Sea Covet and Forget Research. Our nation is a highly linguistically homogeneous country, which means we speak one language, and that is Polish, with 98% the whole population speaking Polish. While other minority groups such as the Belarusians, Germans, and the Kashubians speak their respective native languages. By its notice, it is one of the fastest growing economies in the EU, the stable labor market and a moderating inflation. With a GDP of our country is projected to be one of the world's top 20 economies by the end of 2025. And we are proud to see that the literacy rate for women both in urban areas and rural areas is staggering 98. Allies such as the USA, Germany, France, just to name a few, inclusive policies around the world for women, rural areas. Poland reaffirms its commitment to empowering rural and indigenous young women through education and economic inclusion by combining national reforms, the European Union support, and international cooperation. Poland seeks to ensure that all women, regardless of geography or background, can contribute to and benefit from sustainable development. Our country is spans over 1,000 years. From the early Slavic tribes to now the Democratic Republic led by His Excellency Karol Nawrocki, we are working towards sustainable